Okay, so in this video, we're going to be doing method 2 for attaching our Raspberry Pi to the top plate of our drone. And this is the more difficult method, but the more stable method. And what we're going to need is a set of drill bits, a drill, a screwdriver, and a spacer kit. I will link to in the video. So the first thing we're going to do is take our Raspberry Pi and sort of visually try to place it as close to the center of the plate as possible. Now you might go crazy like trying to get it exactly correct, but this doesn't have to be perfect. Just get it as close to the center as possible. And once you're happy with it, go ahead and take a pen or a pencil or something. And we're only going to mark the back two holes. So hold the Raspberry Pi down with a finger or something and mark those two back mounting holes of the Raspberry Pi. And the reason we're only going to drill the back two holes first is because if we drill all four at once, those four holes might be a little off from what we intended on all four locations. And so when we go to mount the Raspberry Pi, it might not actually mount to the holes that are created on the top plate. So we're going to drill the back two first, which I've already done here. And so we're going to need the hole to be big enough for this screw to go through, the threaded column, but not the screw head or the nut. Now this screw and nut combination comes in the kit that I've linked to, and we're using the screw in this case as an impromptu washer. And the way that I determined what drill bit size to use was to drill a couple holes into a solid surface I didn't really care about and just place that screw into the hole. And if the threaded part of the screw goes through but the screw head and nut doesn't go through, then that is the correct drill bit size that you're going to want to use. Okay, then after you have determined what drill bit size to use, go ahead and drill out the back two holes. I like to start the drill while this plate is on a flat surface, so I would just start a little bit while it's on a flat surface. I've already drilled the holes though. Okay, now the next thing we're going to do is temporarily mount our Raspberry Pi to this top plate. I'm saying temporarily because this is not the way we're going to secure the Raspberry Pi at all. This is just temporary. And we're going to do this by putting some screws down through the Raspberry Pi and putting nuts on the other side of the plate so that the Raspberry Pi is secure in the back. Okay, now the Raspberry Pi is basically secured here to this top plate. And what this does is it fixes the location of the Pi on the plate. So we know exactly where those other two holes need to be. Now what we can do is take our smallest drill bit, and while the Pi is attached, drill a small hole right in the middle of those Raspberry Pi holes that are meant for the mounts. And we'll drill some small holes, and then once those small holes are drilled, we will disconnect the Raspberry Pi from the top plate. So then what we're going to do is take our normal size drill bit and re-drill those holes that we just drilled with the small drill bit so that we have a normal sized hole that our screws will fit through. And then once that's ready, we're ready to put our Raspberry Pi and Navio together and actually secure it to our plate.